multi-million-dollar contract to refurbish the eastern portion of the Sydney-Poitier Bridge. I'm Clint Watson. I'll tell you all about it and how it will impact you in the Bahamas tonight.
More details being released about the government's national health insurance scheme. We'll bring you all the details coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
And Tourism's Director General addresses the issue of crime. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
A major contract signed today for the refurbishment of the Paradise Island Bridge as the end of its 50-year lifespan approaches and an increase in the bridge toll looms. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And good evening. I'm Charisma Robinson. The upgrade to the Paradise Island Exit Bridge comes 49 years after its construction, and while a 2011 inspection report stated that the bridge is still safe to travel on, that report also recommended immediate repairs and replacement within a specific period. Clint Watson leads us off tonight with Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie describing the multi-million-dollar contract as a significant move.
It comes at a price tag of just over $5 million to refurbish, and while it would initially be paid for by bonds from the central bank, the Bridge Authority's Chairman Rory Higgs revealed that a toll increase was inevitable in order to cover the cost of refurbishment and maintenance. The last increase was 17 years ago when the toll doubled from 50 cents to $1.
Effective March 1st, 2016, the tolls will be increased to $2 for private vehicles. Our market research has shown that even with the increase, the new toll amounts with still a significantly lower than the tolls for similar operations throughout the region.
There would also be an increase in all other categories to be announced soon. It was also determined that refurbishing the bridge would be the best option for the time being, with plans to construct a new one in 2042. Minister responsible for the Bridge Authority, the Honorable Shane Gibson, says Bahamian company Island Site Development was successful out of 3 bids during the tender process.
At a cost of some $5,359,421.50, inclusive of contingency. I congratulate Island Site Development on this very significant achievement. I'm advised that work will take 42 weeks to complete and fully expect you to meet your completion deadline. I'm also advised that during the construction period, some 30 to 40 Bahamians would be employed.
Now to those residents, in particular the vendors under the Eastern Bridge, officials say they expect to dialogue with them if there is a need to have disruption. They do, however, say it's expected to be minimal. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie reiterated his government's commitment to infrastructural development, noting that they will partner with all stakeholders.
This is a very significant part of the mainstay of our country. It is important that we pay very close attention to it. And it's important that our relationship with the hotel owners over on Paradise Island, the properties on Paradise Island, becomes a significant one where we are completely at one with them when it comes to protecting the future of this island.
Senior Vice President at Atlantis, Ed Field, says the mega resort supports the upgrade to the bridge, but admits it will impact their bottom line as a result of the toll increase.
It will have an impact on our bottom line, and so we'll have to see how we manage that situation. I think we subsidize, I want to say something like 50% of the bridge tolls for our employees, so we'll have to look at how that impacts our bottom line. We were advised about the construction process, and we, in fact, just spoke with the contractor, and I think it'll have minimal impact. They'll probably try to work in the off hours so that during peak hours there isn't just any major disruption.
And according to officials, work is expected to begin in another 2 to 3 weeks. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Officials of the National Health Insurance Secretariat have released more information on the 5-phased plan being rolled out to ensure Bahamians have access to affordable health care. NHI registration continues at the National Health Insurance Board offices across the country, and officials say to get your care, you must get your card.
Janelle Ferguson covered a press conference this morning, updating the public on many of the concerns expressed by stakeholders.
There has been some hesitation from the medical community over national health insurance. Some doctors and senior consultants from the private sector have expressed that while they agree with NHI, they do not support the program as presently outlined. Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. DeLon Brennan explains that while there was some initial apprehension, more doctors are buying into the plan.
It wasn't that they don't want to sign on to the program. They're engaged and they want to be a part of it. What they want is more information from us, but they also want to feel as though their concerns and their needs are being addressed as a part of designing the NHI program. And again, through our consultations with them, even as late as this weekend, they have been able to voice some of those concerns. We have shown how we can modify the original models to address those. So I think we're actually getting to a point where they feel more comfortable with what we are going to start out with.
More information on NHI is being released through the website nhibahamas.gov.bs. It was launched on Monday. Permanent Secretary for the NHI Secretariat, Peter DeVoe Isaac, says the plan was in the work for quite some time with one goal in mind.
The government of the Bahamas is committed to improving our healthcare system to position our nation as the healthiest country in the Caribbean region by the year 2040.
So far, NHI officials have only publicly estimated the cost of Phase 3.
The primary care phase of NHI Bahamas will cost the government approximately $25 million from April until June and will be tracked and forecasted each quarter thereafter based on utilization rates and cost saving.
That figure derived from household surveys, an estimation on what is spent on healthcare by Bahamians and what is already being spent for the National Prescription Drug Plan. NHI officials have also encouraged those with private health insurance not to drop their coverage.
If you're able to access those same services and not have to pay for them, it is likely that you will seek to have a decrease in what your insurance premiums, whether that's as an individual or as a group, might be, because you no longer require those services of private health insurance. But that's something that we'd like people to be able to experience first before they make any of those changes, because we want them to feel comfortable that they're actually getting service provision, and it isn't just that we're saying you're going to get it and giving empty promises. We're saying see, touch, and feel the system first, and then decide whether you want to make a change to your private health insurance.
Legislation on NHI will be released within the coming days. NHI officials plan to hold town meetings throughout the country to update various sectors and the wider community on the plan, which will be rolled out in 5 phases. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
With millions of advertising dollars being spent to attract more than 5 million visitors to the Bahamas annually, tourism officials now have to diminish the negative perception increasing crime is having on the country, which nowadays can go viral. The Director General of Tourism told our Janelle Noel Ferguson that it's an issue that must be taken seriously.
It's been more than 2 weeks since the U.S. Embassy issued a crime warning for U.S. citizens, advising them not to patronize the service of jet ski operators after an unlicensed operator was charged with the alleged rape of an American. Tourism's Director General Joy Jubileau says while that was a black eye for the industry, the country's tourism brand remains strong.
Our numbers have remained consistent, notwithstanding the advisory. And I think the traveler of today, they're discerning. They will read it and then they will make the choice. It's not that I will not come to the Bahamas. Rather, I will perhaps think twice about taking part in that activity.
Nevertheless, the Director General says there is an overall concern about crime, with 149 murders recorded last year and 4 for this year.
It is heart-wrenching and heartbreaking when we see this senseless crime that's taking place. You know, the world has changed so much. In the past, something like that happened, it may have been reported in our local press. Nowadays, something like that happens, and what's the first thing people do? They get on Facebook, they get on Twitter, they get on Instagram, and they tweet it. And it doesn't go to one person, it doesn't go to five, it then becomes universal.
That alone, she said, is damaging to all of the positive efforts by the Ministry of Tourism, which is pushing to make the Bahamas the #1 destination, not only in the region, but the world. The effort, however, she believes cannot be achieved in isolation.
Tourism truly is the goose that's feeding the Bahamas. It's our economic engine, and every single citizen must work together to ensure that we do whatever we can to address this problem. We want our tourists to get out there. I want to see them strolling down Bay Street at night, going into restaurants, or hopping in a cab and going in to a local restaurant. That way everybody benefits. But when people are afraid, what happens? They stay within the confines of their hotel property.
Now, Joy Jubileau, the Director General of Tourism, anticipates that new crime strategy expected to be released by Commissioner of Police Alison Greenslade. She says more must be done to arrest the crime problem to protect our #1 industry, tourism. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry of Tourism is following an aggressive marketing campaign this year to tap into new markets, which will bring more visitors to our shores. Director General Jubileau disclosed that Brazil may be one of the targets.
We can't just rest on our laurels. We have to seize the moment. We have, in partnership with the IDB, come up with some research, and the research shows that there is huge interest in Brazil for visiting the Bahamas. We are viewed as a sexy destination, a desirable destination. In fact, when they talked about the whole region, they viewed Jamaica as a place for culture. There was some hesitancy about visiting there. When asked about the Bahamas, everyone wanted to come to the Bahamas. It has an allure and an appeal. And so we have a Latin American unit, a director of Latin America, working with tour operators, travel agents in the Brazil and Latin American market.
Now, there's also been keen interest from India. The Director General hopes we'll also be able to capitalize on that.
Of interest from India, particularly the romance market. I am advised that Indians spend a fortune on their weddings, no expenses barred. And particularly they have a growing middle class, a huge middle class, and everyone wants to do something new. And so destination weddings are a huge thing. So we know that there is an opportunity. The opportunity exists for us to get into this market. Bahamas, as we worked with China and did the visa waiver, we're looking to see what could we do to facilitate ease of travel for Indians who wish to travel to the Bahamas. We're a destination that they're interested in, that they're excited about visiting, and we just have to capitalize upon it.
Still to come, education rewards top achievers.
And a man found with drugs at the Lyndon Pinley International Airport appears in court today. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news brought to you by Paradise Games. Live in your world, win in ours.
Commonwealth Bank has always been where Bahamians go for auto loans.
And it just keeps getting better. Now with on-site approval available, even more flexibility and hassle-free loan applications.
That's what I like. Bahamians approving Bahamians because they don't answer to anyone but themselves.
Thanks, CB. Thanks, CB, for making it quick and easy.
Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
BTC's commitment to its customers does not only lie in Nassau. We have taken our commitment all the way to the south, where the cable provider has been ignoring the residents for many years.
I live in the Fun City subdivision, and for the past 10+ years, we have had no cable service whatsoever.
BTC is set to provide residents all across the country with the connection and content they've been lacking. Because you deserve it. BTC is continuing to install all our services across the entire Bahamas.
When you love the great taste of KFC, you can't help but share it. Come into KFC for the 8-piece family deal. 8 pieces of tender, juicy chicken, large family fries, and 4 biscuits for just $20, including VAT. There's nothing better than sharing KFC's perfectly seasoned, fresh prepared chicken with delicious sides. Get your 8-piece family deal today for just $20, VAT inclusive. Only at KFC Nassau. So good.
Table 12.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Women played an important role in each fight that we went through in Bahamian history.
The Burma Road riots, the strikes in '58, majority rule.
Women were the backbone of many of those events that led to independence.
These women were ordinary people looking for justice and looking for their voices to be heard.
It inspires me to do more.
They spoke up when it was safer to stay quiet. What these women have done does inspire me to stand up for what I believe is right.
Financial dreams only become a reality when we make the commitment to ourselves and our financial future. Let Leno help you bridge your dream into a reality. Leno Corporate Services offer individual retirement plans, pension administration, investment management, brokerage and trading, accounting, payroll, and corporate services.
Leno, bridging possibilities. Contact us at 396-3225.
For over 50 years, we've been your symbol of security. We've helped you build a better life beside you every step of the way, protecting the things you value and the people you love. We've understood your dreams and helped you achieve your goals. We are your knight in shining armor. We're Farm Guard for life, health, and wealth.
Life, health, and wealth, we're protecting you.
More great cities just got closer. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard is now even better. Fly to New York, Miami, Orlando, and Fort Lauderdale with just 20,000 Scotia points. With your new Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard, you'll receive a welcome bonus of 10,000 Scotia points. So you can enjoy the cities you love most sooner than ever. Call 242-356-1560 or visit your nearest branch. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
The final draft for the Shared Vision for Education 2030 is on its way to Cabinet for final approval. Included in the draft is the goal of increasing the graduation rate from 50 to 85%.
Now, the information disclosed by the Minister of Education, Science and Technology today as public and private school students from across the country were recognized for their stellar academic accomplishments.
Carla Palmer reports on the Ministry of Education's annual National Award Ceremony held at the Church of God Auditorium on Joe Farrington Road.
The awards ceremony highlighted the 2015 results in both the Bahamas Junior Certificate, BJC, and the Bahamas General Certificate of Secondary Education, BGCSE. Minister of Education, Science and Technology, the Honorable Jerome Fitzgerald, encouraged the students to continue on a steady path of success, of learning and achievement.
So, honorees, I never want you to let your gifts and your accomplishments get in the way of you progressing and achieving all that you want to be. Never become lackadaisical and complacent and believe that your natural talent will be good enough to bring you success.
Minister Fitzgerald also implored the students to always give credit where due, look back to give thanks to those who have assisted them along the way, and lend a helping hand to people in need.
You have activated your dreams. Now you must execute the tasks and bring them to fruition. Remain focused on your goals, concentrate on the task ahead, work harder than those around you, and you will experience success as you walk down the path that leads to fulfillment.
Armani Wise of C.H. Reeves Junior High School was awarded the best 2015 BJC results for the government schools, while Jana McCarty of Queens College received the same award for independent or the private schools. The Marjorie Davis Award for the best overall performance in the BGCXE examinations in the government schools went to Cecilia Cartwright of NGM Major High School in Long Island. Topping everyone, however, was Sujith Swarna of Forest Heights Academy, Abaco. He received the Paul L. Adderley and the Carol Hanna Awards for independent schools. In addition to certificates and trophies, the students also received cash prizes and laptop computers. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
In news from the courts, a number of men were charged in the magistrate's court this morning on drug charges. Our Fern Carey has more.
That water truck employee found with drugs at the Lyndon Pilling International Airport on Friday, formally charged in the magistrate court today. He's 29-year-old Nassau Village resident Cordero White. Also charged along with White was 39-year-old Alex Turnquest. In court, Magistrate Andrew Forbes charged them with possession of dangerous drugs with intent to supply and conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs with intent to supply. White pleaded not guilty to both charges. However, Turnquest pleaded guilty to the first offense but denied that he conspired with others to possess the dangerous drugs with the intention of selling it to others. Police say around 1 p.m. on Friday, airport security searched a water truck driven by White at the entrance ramp of LPIA and discovered 4.5 ounces of cocaine in that vehicle. Bail was denied and they were remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections. The case has been adjourned. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Also facing a drug charge today was 39-year-old Exuma resident Jermaine Smith, who's accused of having 57 pounds of marijuana in his possession with the intention of selling to others. Prosecutors say the Stewart Manor resident had just arrived from Exuma last week Thursday when Drug Enforcement Unit officers searched a mailboat moored at the Potter's Key dock and found the drugs in 3 boxes. Smith initially pleaded guilty to the charge, but when he didn't agree with the facts of the case as read by the police prosecutor, ASP Urkel Dorset, Magistrate Andrew Forbes entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Bail was denied and he's been remanded to prison. He's due back in court April 7th.
Reports reaching our newsroom tonight indicate that a suicide reportedly happened on the island of Mayaguana. What we know is that the incident happened in Betsy Bay involving a man who is said to be in his late 30s, early 40s. We've been trying to reach senior government officials to confirm this information. That's all we know for now, though. This is a developing story. ZNS News will continue to follow.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. CaribJournal.com is reporting